This may be the only expansion possible for you, my creative destructors, if you get the span of things. Welcome to Open Source Human 1.5. This is my live stream. The channel is Open Source Human. The original version of Open Source Human, we asked the question, where, when, what, how, and who should we pay for an economy that works? I have separate material. It was there's copies out there, and I have that to kind of finish, and a whole lot I could put in the dark of my memory to I figured the world's got a lot of bad news in it, and something could be out there. Make it rattle or something tonight. Anyhow, the idea, if you've been watching the show, is to do a little inspiritual questionomics. It's like my only radicalization at this time. I've talked yesterday on the program that I think there are people essentially trying to radicalize me. I've been advised from paper, a lot of other things, a lot of loss of functionality, but in spiritual questionomics is like a Christian sect. It's basically just, saying, like a lot of leaders in many schizophrenic borders everywhere of this confederacy world, because if you have, we'll get to the Yakio Oregon in a moment. In spiritual questionomics is just basically saying, I'm God, well, there isn't one. And you can say that, and you can say that. Only on stage. I made that clear yesterday, too. A little expansion on what was already centered mind. The idea that if you're on stage and you have yes or no questions, just simple yes or no questions on your ideas for progress or something, for center and soul and heart. People should respect that. People should allow you, like they've voted for so many leaders or gone to war for so many leaders. They should be able to at least respect the symbol of enough to say, I'm God, well, there isn't one, just for the stage moment. Ask me yes or no questions. So this is how it goes. My separate material: who, what, where, what, how, where, when, what, how, and who should we pay for an economy that works? The original Open Source Human. Open Source Human 1.5 now. Ask me about that separate material. I'll answer yes, no. If I hate your question, you get another one. So the radicalization, I hope they're not doing that to anyone out there. Of course, if you catch Twitter and Facebook feeds, I happen to know and have measured that is happening actively. Go figure. Competition, war and suffrage. That's fine. We could do a party too. Beyond this Christian sect of inspiritual questionomics, I explained several times in the lead up to that expansion of just being on stage answering yes or no questions for the fun of it, like any child would. I described that inspiritual is basically a ritualistic inspiration. Comes from, if I was going to guess, it'd be Greek. It means to breathe. It means to breathe. And you want kind of a ritual of that, don't you? You want the best humor you can get. And that's where you can check out the Twitter and Facebook things. A Flawed Good Soul. My name, capital A, capital GS. That's a space, on the last name there. But a flaw. AFLAWED, a flawed good soul, GOODSOUL. I'm just a flawed good soul. So you can ask me yes or no questions about my separate material. I have a phone here. It's never worked. Let's see if no. You know what? I'm not even going to try it tonight. They were honest enough to let me know. I'm going to take the batteries out, though, because it's been go back to the other programs. It hasn't been edited or however massive edits. Where's one of those posts? Because it may just do something naughty. Not naughty. wanes. Anyhow, uh, Molecular ore. Let's get into that. It was a segment that's supposed to end every last segment of Open Source Human 2.0 potential. If I don't catch the following from the Twitter and Facebook posts, tonight, no Facebook posts. Well, I've been active on there looking for, how do I put it? Classic country pebbly lip rock. Pictures from executification to relight the A's in our education. Anyhow, molecular ore. Basically this. Who would lead? Who would go to war? Who would have borders or language and keep life, even effects or everything else that goes into effects, without the business 101 concept of being able to liquidate all assets so quickly that no one would want to hostily take over your business. I'm not saying that isn't out there. It's just not centralized. It's just not valuing the transparency of potty material. And all I'm saying is, how can anyone do that really yet for the earth? How can anyone lead or go to war or have effects without a poison pill, to be able to liquidate all assets, to quickly, painlessly, and totally destroy all life on the planet? You know, that in theory, Business 101, you do something like that, there are good forces, supposedly. And you move those assets toward that situation, liquidation, you may just summon the White Knights, some beyond force of benevolent will for humanity. That's the Molecular ore. It was going to be much more tongue in cheek than it's been here. But as I said, back around Christmas this last year, 2018. Maybe you don't know the date. There's an upgrade. I said I would only do one of those tonight, and I'm on my way to it. Yeah. So around Christmas 2000, it's now January 2019. We are looking forward and back. I'll look back a little further. Christmas 2018. Oh yes, good. Let's do that in a moment here. I got a little rattled because as even of today, the loss of functionality in the people around this sort of annexed mental institution, they keep bothering me. So I had to kind of get a little less tongue in cheek. When I'm expanding, I have a good time. And like I said, for potty material, it's not something I have to, and it's not something mathematically I can lead because of the reputation of these people, these loss of functionalities. Essentially, I've got a lot of meditative labels for it all. Again, and I guess that was the idea around the potty. I'm just not going to lead it into the green zone and sealed in with just very rudimental supplies, perimeter, whatever. I'm not going to tell you much more because I'm looking for more yuck. And I get into the other two that I have also expanded upon as far as risk management, as I did yesterday, the day before that. We do the show every day at 7:34 p.m. Potty Pacific here in the Oregon era, as it is. So let me show you how I do buttressing of the day. I call the show's hour the Faberflaw hour. It's just 9 minutes long, really. When you're buttressing the day, it just sort of happened to line up one day when I started whatever your live streams and video upload and fun with my first smartphone. How conservative am I? I didn't have a smartphone until well, that's not even been a month. Anyhow, buttressing the day, I like to get to my immediate family. Here's my smart enough phone. And yeah. So I just simply send them a picture to let them know I'm okay. Just a still frame signature or an audio signature or a video signature. Buttressing the day, 7:34 a.m., 7:34 p.m. You got 9 minutes to kind of set alarms to bother yourself into waking up and shining a light on the moon. Right? I won't do that directly. I'm waiting for braver individuals. But here we go. Just how bad is that? Just a simple picture. You know, it may or may not freak them out, but at least you're not cussing at them like teenagers or anything. You know, we've all been there. All right, let's see. Let's use no potty, no phone tonight. At least it's honest. It fully shut down. Had batteries in it, but display was completely off. Where the other handset it references, I don't know. This is why I don't keep a log about all the conspiracy and loss of functionality because you see, I'm enjoying myself. Oh, now, if you want to enjoy yourself, I've got a bookkeeping skill here. You gotta get it's all lost functionality now. Maybe you got that right there, but looking to kind of get a penny or something from somebody. You don't have to. I guess I could cinch it down into something more categorical or you know relative to the spiritual questionologies. But of course, then that wouldn't be a Christian sect, would it? It wouldn't be separate tests of government and hope to expand party into regulatory parties or party and a couple names for that, et cetera, and so forth. But basically, if you feel it in the future that you're not getting the jokes, um, you might have to start paying for it at some point. That's just math too. I didn't invent math. I don't even know what the racy slur of math comes from. All I know is it's relatively inconcise, decentralized, and a lot of people are fully auto hypnotized, or I call them the auto hypnorati, by that concept, the inconcise and decentralized state of mathematics. Um, and I think I'm pretty sure I have an inkling of where the word comes from, but it's been shortened, and it's just there's a lot of book material out there, isn't there? There's a lot of de-optimization and study of persons, houses, papers, and effects. Those are searches. Those are seizures. You can find that um, in your heart. Uh, God forbid they measure it and realize they have one themselves. Now, that's an honest threat, isn't it? Respect the honest threat. You got to work with the powers out there. Even if even if you have to kind of change names and things. I understand that, but we have to be respectful of the material that gets left behind. And recycle those things in time when you're strong enough. Which brings me to the expansion of yesterday's show. Potty artists and etc. who would riot towards this Oregon state if emergency is emergently sound. Um, I must remember they wanted to succeed. The artist, every artist wants to be big. They want to be liked. Of course, with a kind of a schizophrenic confederacy out there managing things, just constantly saying that the rip of effects could happen if you didn't take more of their effects and things. That's not big. That's, I mean, I've got a lot more ways, but that's just a revisit to the concept of yesterday's partial expansion on some things. So got to the spiritual questionomics expansion. It's just on stage. Yes, no. Just yes, no. Questions for the audience of wherever that takes place. I had pages alluding to that concept and had alluded that that concept would get squirted out up and sooner than I had intended if I couldn't contain the decentralization of my own material in separate book. The where, when, what, how, and who should we pay for an economy that works, potty, base, etc. Event status, grow. Do your thing. But those are the two expansions yesterday. I think I'll get to one more today. Yeah, I got to all of them. Visited all the expansions yesterday. The concept that these losses of functionality, these give and takes, very very more specific meditations, um, will try to radicalize you. They'll try to edit you. They will try to make you have their effects and discontinue the bonds between hearts. And I'm not saying this is communist material. I'm not saying we need to McCarthy ourselves. But I've got ways and ways and ways. And those effects are just, for a moment, for an event, read the material. It's no wormhole. It's no, you insurrection or sedition. I've been very compliant for my lack of orientation. But it's not big. It's not big to break bonds when you know this has got to be the last um, pet. You know, I haven't been hurt all my life for no reason, spiritually anyway. I've been very privileged physically. I really appreciate um, all the entertainment, but just remember, you human beings, and for the most part, the world is red-hearted animals, and um, just get with the times, people. Contemporize, optimize for a week or a point night. You know, um, it is. My intention is only to be able to get back to um, my hometown with the people I've been entertained by all these years, and know they are well and still progressing. Um, but you get it. I mean, the grab for eyes out there, it's just not sustainable. And whatever is saying, whatever maybe even from my own work has been, since it has been finished and stabilized. But you know, at this point, with enough love, any cadre could finish. it's a real problem because I think they're going to try to use it to radicalize other people. They're going to use it as an excuse um, to try to grab more eyes, which is fine when I'm done. But of course, I won't expand on every concept. Like I'm saying, I'm waiting for the exectivation or presidents to give a call to my family and government line, and they should know that I've been reporting a lot of losses of functionality. Um, as I said yesterday, I've got several items in several courts, and I just I trust that they will come down from uh, an even less sanitary situation spiritually. Um, just for a week or a fortnight, go right back to it. Let me catch up with the money later. I don't need any money. I'm not, I know that this is, a concept that, you know, these eye tuggers have not, uh, planned for, you know. What can I say? I am all math for the age. I'm an economic aidurist. Aidurist. I've blended all myth. Is it okay if I can call um knowing more than myth? There's worse things have happened. All right, so today's expansion. People, if you get in the state, I'll, actually there's a little bit more expansion because we 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 talk about getting a date on these shows. You can't trust where this stuff is gonna be in the future. Be in the future. So yeah, 2019. This is the 6th of January, 2019, and this is the expansion today. Always, always trade acceptable spiritual circumstances if it'll get everybody to heaven. That doesn't mean you create circumstances to get yourself and the people you care about to heaven. It means you have the horrible misthoughts or mismath or misdrugging or the fear of being given or taken. And you go, if you get a moment of peace and all that, 'cause they stop your heart. They they need you. And so if the worst thought comes to you, you whatever it is, misthought, mismath, misdrugging, other inculpatory circumstances in gullery. Always trade a small pain of yourself, of your personal pain, if it'll get everybody to heaven. It's just a little mental trick, a prayer. There's something out there that knows more than we know, and we're all linked at the heart. We're all red-blooded, hearted, for the most part. Things. Something knows more than we know. There's knowing more than knowing. You can take small steps into pain, personally, as long as you have the lead on. Wait a second. This it's gonna get everybody there. And I'm not saying that's my event. I'm not saying that's the party. Um, it's not. There's not apocalypse. There's not rapture. There's no staying forever. Uh, if anybody, yeah. So let's get back to the concept. Always trade a small amount of personal pain if it gets everyone to heaven. That's the expansion today. Still waiting for the executoration or presentiments out there to reach me from my status as, a pretty decent guy. Yuccular war item number 1. If we were to do some event, we were to do some pottying, okay, for hometown generators everywhere, all races, all genders, etc., and so forth. We're going to need some angle, some gray side of its own, a thought to leaders. If you purposely get more liberal now, while I severely anchor myself in whatever nuances of survival effects in a green zone, get in that gray zone, get a little liberal, and that would be returning us to like a pre-World War One, the lie of the war to end all wars. This is control, stagflation internationally, but controlled with the rise from a core of conservatism. I cannot lead. Anyone who says I cannot lead is trying to lead. All I can do is potty and do it transparently. And what do you know? There's a little gray in the green, if you know what I mean. And I'll clean it all. Don't worry. I'll walk those fields. We talked about this. I'll walk those fields, whichever event, whichever money, whichever effects, to just stent up that notion of a sound shot. Just a sound shot. Some signature. No. It's just there's some jokes out there. I mean, I know what has happened. I know money isn't everything. I know you're high. I've considered all those things too. You don't think I've been in misthought before? I think I annex rooms and residents and get told to leave because I'm not welcome as a resident, even though I signed contracts, and just annex the damn thing, Be darned. Can we get a little Negro Nova? Whatever. I'm fine. I'm gonna keep going. We have to return to before all those lies happened. Before we got high on concepts that were not lawful. I could say that really carefully because I know you seek punishment that I cannot deliver without making your punishments worse. Not that I can't, personally make sure that people uh, other thoughts, I think you catch what I'm aware of. And I'm not trying to be any force of any political science other than just a freedom of speech and a freedom of effects and a freedom of person and freedom of orientation. It's not illegal to give people orientation. So check out that case matter. Know that I've been heard. I have every right on other concepts, but I know if I seek to be a medium of punishment in a large way, and you can tell I'm not going to be responsible for that because, you know, the concept being, if I try to inflict pain in a large way, even if it's just social, it can't work, and unless it's a gray site of some variety. I call that the pain inflicted. Come be transparent. And again, remember, you wanted to be big. That's not bad. You wanted to rule the world. That's not bad. It's the people who get high on others' misery, but don't understand the lack of those immigratables, best intentions. To just point out the legal condition of some concepts. I say with that reference with the A Flawed Good Soul name, unless it's lost functionality, you see. Sometimes work gets inverted, and I'm not doing that. I just want you to know. You wanted to rule the world. You wanted to be big. I don't care what gender or race you were. Now is the time to try and do that. So we spoke. We spoke on the first few open source human 1.5 this channel shows, the uploads. As I was going, hey, is this okay? Because I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to disturb any culture out there that doesn't understand real, to make you a radical, to fail to stop taking eyes of attention from their browsers or whatever, or even the law books themselves. So the idea is, it's not a bad thing to want to rule the world. It's not a bad thing to want to be big. It's just how much pain you're willing to suffer. It's how much personal introversion you're willing to experience with a lead. That's what potty's about. If I get event, I don't have to leave. That's an option. It's an option. It's an option. I don't care. If I finish, like I said, getting math decentralized, getting thought decentralized, getting your advertisements decentralized, I understand. But if it's on a caliber, you got to take some inversion. You got to take a little bit of spiritual pain to center yourself in ruling the world. Center yourself in trading that personal pain for getting every soul to where all those good myths went. And why aren't they here? Why aren't they mathematical proofs for all borders, all schizophrenic confederacies? Because we haven't. But I'd like to see your thoughts. I'd like to do the Inspiritual Questionomics. I'd like to have people call at some point, or get all those words are bad now, aren't they? Bring respect, but only for the concept that I'm going to return. We can do Inspiritual Questionomics. We can inspire the economics. I can ask you yes or no question. You can ask me yes or no question, and we can equally share the audience for this Christian sect of Inspiritual Questionomics. As long as it's on stage, as long as it's captive to something fun, yeah, These are God while there isn't one, you know? Um, even do the spiritual questionomics at any event. You know, I don't intend to see anything outside of a green zone. And green zones, I mean, yeah, they have openings and things. Potentially, that's fine. Don't know everything about a controlled collapse. Um, I don't think it's even going to. I think this material, if you can edit so well out there, can be artfully changed at about a 10% variable, as long as it's not a disbonding phenomenon in this time. It's not a decommunization in this time. Because communism didn't have the math. It didn't have the math. But it will. So you wonder where all the myths went. We are. We are. Still, you know, concepts of God, of a oneness, of a knowing more than knowing. That was expansion today. Let me get the last Yakular war item in number 2. Not doing so much here. Hey, plug up the first body. Hey, I could operate there too. Yeah, you should see it afterward. I get my hands dirty and there's music and it's just not fun.